For 25 years before I do what I do now, I worked on financing. I was a financial advisor. I helped people save money for retirement, education, get out of debt, which I'm going to tell you today how to do, eliminating their debt. Proverbs 22:7 was already read, and that was, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. The borrower is what? Servant to the lender. Servant to the lender. We must, this is a statement I want to make, we must become debt-free as fast as possible, all of us. As Seventh-day Adventists in this movement, we've got to become debt-free. This cannot be an area that the states hold over us in these last days. If you have debt, they will hold it over you. So first, how? How are we going to become debt-free? And I'm going to show you how to do it the fastest way possible and never get back in debt again. Don't get into debt for any reason. I know that when you're in school, the first thing you start getting is credit card offers when you're a student. I mean, as soon as you reach the 18, even if you're not in school, you start getting credit card offers. And they use an excuse. They say, in order to establish what? Credit. So that you can buy more things and get more into debt. Don't get into debt in the first place. You don't need a credit score. You don't need a high. If you were debt-free and you had cash to buy a car, to buy whatever you needed, is there any reason for a credit score? No. There's no reason to get into debt. Today, debt seems to be the way of life, though, doesn't it? For everybody. It's kind of started in the late 70s, early 80s, when credit cards were almost offered to everybody. And now it is offered to everybody. If you have a Social Security number, you have debt. The Bible discourages debt, and we're going to talk about where in the Bible does it talk about debt. Owe no one anything, it says in Romans 13:7 and 8. Owe no one anything except for to love one another. And this is the debt we need to feel. We need to feel like I need to offer more love to people. The good love, not the worldly love. So how to get out of debt? Let's look at that. In what sense are we under bondage to the lender? The memory text? It said that the borrower is servant to the lender. In what ways are you Well, I guess I need to back up a little bit. Why is the borrower servant to the lender? How does that happen? In these last days, the best, it's kind of like Egypt. Do you know what happened? How did the children of Israel, who were prominent in Joseph's time, become slaves back in those days? Do you know what happened? They didn't just one day, the Egyptians wake up and says, now you're servant to us. Now you are slaves to us. I mean, they were massive. They had grown massively. What they did is become wanting. They wanted something. And so they borrowed from the Egyptians in order to purchase what they needed. And then when they didn't have enough, they were indentured. You know what indentured slavery is? It's where you have to work off your debt until the debt is paid. Once they had the majority of the Israelites in indentured slavery, then they just made them all slaves at that time. And then they couldn't get out of it. Now, real slavery, you know what that is. I mean, that's one thing we argue about all the time, especially in the United States and Europe. But indentured slavery is where it started. Right now, you are in that type. You're like before indentured slavery. Because if you don't pay your mortgage payment, what's going to happen? There you go. If you don't pay your debts, they're going to come and get your stuff. Right? And so it's important to own it for yourself. You want something, you pay for it, you own it. So if you just stop paying for things, we got to stop this madness that's going on. Let's begin a debt elimination process. Now, Ed Reed, and I admire this guy who wrote the lesson. Step one, he declares a moratorium on any additional debt. So if you've got debts, and these are ones I just wrote on the board, some of you may have more, maybe you have less. Whoops. I just noticed I missed the zero. Move it over. So if you have debts, you need to claim a moratorium. That means no more debt. You're going to stop right now. No more collecting credit cards. No more charging your credit cards. It's a freeze. Cut them up so you can't use them anymore. Now, I know one person said, well, what I do is I put them into a bag, fill that bag with water, and put it in the freezer. I said, well, you have a microwave. You can still unthaw it really quick if you needed it. No more debt. Cut them all up and claim a moratorium on it. Freeze it. Freeze your debt right now. It's to make number two is to make a covenant with God that from this point on, as he blesses you, will pay off your debts as quickly as possible. You've got to claim that with God. Say, Lord, I promise this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay off my debts. When God blesses you financially, which he will, use the money to reduce your debt. Something's going to happen and you're going to come into $500, $1,000, $10,000, something will happen. And because God is going to bless you, use that. It's not to buy anything else. It's to pay off your debts. And then number three, hands-on practical part. And this is what I'm going to talk about right here. So, I need to get the mic. So here, I put the first credit card. It's $1,000. $850 is the second one. The third one is $2,600. The fourth one is $10,000. The fifth one is $18,000. That's a student loan. That one's a car. And then the mortgage. Oh, I forgot in here. I was going to put another. Let's make this 6 and make it another car note because most people have 2 cars nowadays. $50,000. $50,000. And your payment's $425 a month. Okay. And then you have the mortgage at $195,000. Now your numbers, of course, are going to be off. These are just ones I came up with the top of my head. You want to put them on a sheet of paper or in your computer. Now, and you want to put it to lowest to highest, except if these are close, you want to pay off the one with the highest interest rate. Forget about interest when it comes to car note and mortgage because those are calculated differently. We're talking about credit cards here. So credit cards, $850 is lower balance than the $1,000 credit card. Why am I going to pay the $1,000 credit card off first? Higher interest rate. It's a 23%. This one is a 60, because it's so high, it's going to be costing you more in the long run. So we want to pay the lower one, this one off, the $1,000 one off first because the interest rate is higher. Now, you pay these off. And I'm doing this so it doesn't financially hurt you. If you are on a fixed income, that's what this is designed for. If you are like broke, and you're on a fixed income, you can still do this in 2.5 to 4 years. 2.5 to 4 years, you can be completely debt-free. So you start with this credit card, $25 a month. And then once this is paid off, what do you do with the money that's now freed up, the $25? You add it to the payment of this one, and you put it on the principal. So then you pay off that next credit card. And then once that's paid off, what do you do with it? You add it. So now that 50 becomes 100. And then when you pay off that becomes 150. And when you pay off that comes 280. You see how you are attacking all of your debt so that it's completely wiped out as fast as possible. Pretty soon, you're making a $2,100 payment on your mortgage, and that's paid off very quickly because that extra is going on the principal, not towards taxes and insurance and all that. Do you have a question or statement?
No, I just want to make a comment on your 23% interest. People should be aware that
Thank you.
you don't get that credit card, because I know where my interest is, they called me, wanted to give me one, but it's more, or even a store one, 20, 23, 27, 29, and I just don't allow it.
Well, in the beginning, I said, don't get any credit cards. Can you turn this down a little bit? It's a little too loud. Don't get into debt at all. But what I'm using here is what people have already done. So you most likely will have one. But, I mean, if you're shopping for credit cards, you're already in the wrong mindset. Number one, you have to claim a moratorium on your debt. You're not going to get any more into debt. It's done. You're done charging. It's time to spend. If you see something that you want and it costs $500, what did they do for it 100 years ago?
They couldn't get it.
I want that dress. That dress is going to be $800. They saved for it. They saved for it. You save for what you want. This is the way to do it. So now you're wiped out, let's say in 4 years. Can you imagine another $2,100 in your pocket? It's not in your pocket because now it's time to invest that money into mutual funds. And I don't know if I'll go into that or not because right now we're talking about debt. But so you want to become completely debt-free because that's the way God wants you to be, is debt-free. Now imagine all of the debts are people. Let's say this is people. Let's say it's not money at all. So I'm going to wipe all this off like this. This is people. You owe that much love to other people. This person you owe the most love to. Can you imagine those people who have cared for you, who have provided for you, who have been there for you to help you move? They're the ones who love you, right? You know who your friends are when you got to move. They're the ones who show up. So you owe more love to those who have helped you out too, who have loved you the most. So imagine that as people. That's what we were talking about. And then also, what about people that you've hurt, that you owe forgiveness to? People that you have maybe said something you shouldn't have said or done something you shouldn't have done. Can you imagine the person you owe the most forgiveness to or care for? Now I want to talk about something else. And it's still talking about money, but we're switching gears. And I'm going to use this, the mic. Get rich quick schemes. Has anybody ever gotten into one of those before? Nobody wants to say because it's embarrassing, isn't it? Proverbs 17:18. Let's talk about that. Open your Bibles with me to Proverbs 17:18. It says, a man devoid of understanding shakes hands in a pledge and becomes surety for his friends. Does anybody know what that is? Surety? Cosigner, that's right. That's a cosigner. You should never cosign unless you're willing to make the payments. If you cosign on a loan, you own that loan. Right? It's not just your good credit. They're using your good credit. And if somebody has really bad credit, there's a reason for it. Right? They've made mistake after mistake. And so they have bad credit. Now they need you to get more into debt, and it's going to be up to you to pay that debt. Because ultimately, maybe they'll pay it the first month, but in a couple of months down the road, it's going to become yours. I mean, unless you're helping your child, let's say your child doesn't, and they need to get a car right now for college to get home and back and something like that, that's different. Then why don't you just put it on you instead of on them? Don't become a surety, just borrow it yourself. So over here, in this, surety usually occurs when a person with poor credit seeks a loan from a lending institution and does not qualify for the loan. The loan officer will tell the unqualified person that if he or she will get a friend or a family member who has good credit, they can co-sign. Now the next one, Proverbs 22:26. We're right here. It's just a couple more pages. Proverbs 22, verse 26. My son, give me your heart and let your eyes observe my ways. That's 23. Let's go to 22. Let's go to 22, 26. I like that one too. 26. What? I got it. Do not be one of those who shakes hands in a pledge. But that's the one I just read, isn't it? Oh, they're similar, but they're not the same. Do not be one who shakes hands in a pledge, one of those who is surety for debts. That's the same as Proverbs. Oh, I see what's going on. Let's go to Proverbs 28:20. Thank you for bringing that up. That's all about surety and cosigners. Proverbs 28:20. You didn't know debt and stuff like that was in the Bible, did you? It is. And here we have in Proverbs 28, verse 20, a faithful person, it says man here, that means mankind, will abound with blessings. But he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. What does that sound like? Now, if you've ever been bamboozled, you know what it sounds like. If you've ever been invited to a meeting and they had certificates all over the walls and they had the hype that came and the music that was pumping and people say, do you want to make $1 million? And they showed you pictures of boats and cars and luxury and vacations and all these kind of things. This is what it's talking about. You're hastening to be rich. What do they call that? Get rich quick schemes, right? Get rich quick. And the Bible is telling you, don't do it. Don't fall for it. It's already given us a warning. You can walk up and walk out. Yes.
Yes, I've had a few calls offering me a Mercedes and $2.5 million.
From Costa de Ivory?
I don't know where it's
From India?
But one person, basically the same person is calling me. They just uses different names.
But it sounds the same, right?
Yeah.
Same voice?
Same voice. And the only thing of it is, okay, I won this, I can deliver it today, but...
We need your account number to deposit the money in, right?
No, well, first they said, no, go to like dollar store and get a gift card.
Yeah.
And then because we have to register you.
Uh-huh.
And I thought,
So we all are getting these calls nowadays, right?
Yes.
We're all getting these scam calls where they're trying to get our social security number, they're trying to get our account numbers, they're trying to get us to give them money through gift cards. You know what to do with them, right?
Yeah, I say adios. I said, you're a scam. Goodbye.
Well, you could do more than that, and that's what I've done. Is I got a phone number, an 866 toll-free number for the government, and I report those phone numbers. And the next time I get a call, I'm going to three-way call them to that phone number and let them handle it right there. Yeah, just look it up. Scam calls, you can Google it, and the government can take care of them. But we really need to get rid of them because they're taking advantage of people who don't know any better.
Yes.
Or people who want something for nothing. If it's too good to be free, it is. It usually is. Almost always is. So we've heard this. Don't be hastened to be rich because you won't go unpunished. And if you've fallen for it, you know financially you've been punished. Your credit score has been wrecked. It's been very expensive. You know what the number one reason for divorce is? Money. Yeah, you thought it was infidelity. No, it's money. It's people fighting about money. Well, she wants to get this, but then he wants to get this thing. Always fighting about money. If we could come to terms with together, we're going to become debt-free. Do you know how much angst that's going to get rid of in your household? No more debt. And you're both on target for the same purpose, to save for this reason, whether it's school for the kids or retirement for you two, or buying another house, a car. Saving together, you're putting a certain amount of your income now in your savings. And if you want, we could talk about where to save and how to save. I might have some time here at the end. 1 Timothy, let's go to that. 1 Timothy 6, 9, and 10. 1 Timothy 6. It's the last chapter of that's 2 Timothy. No, that's not that. 1 Timothy 6, 9, and 10 says this, but those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. I know a lot of times when I go to the gas station, I see an old guy and an old lady who's bringing out $100 to buy lottery tickets all the time, or scratch-off tickets. And by the time they actually earn anything, do they ever really get their money back? Or last year, 2 years ago, our company took us to Vegas because we had a trip there about a convention that we had to go to. So many people just sitting, they're not pulling slots, now they're just pushing buttons. And people always trying to pay off what they already put in. It's a trap. It's an emotional trap that you could get stuck in by doing those things. Did I read? For the love of money is the root of all. Does it say money is the root of all evil? Not money. Money is not the root of all evil. What is the root of all evil? The love of money. There are a lot of broke people who have the love of money. It's a sin. The love of money. Because as long as you love money, you won't have any. It's a new concept, isn't it? What we're taught in today's society is somebody who has a lot of money must be greedy. Is that true? It's not true. It's not true at all. Just because they have a lot of money doesn't make them greedy. In fact, in most cases, it's because they did the right thing, or their parents did the right thing, or their grandparents did the right thing. Your children should be well off. Your grandchildren should be well off. That's our responsibility, is to do what's right for them, not spend their inheritance. Save. Should something happen to you and your spouse, there should be a good inheritance for your children. I say that down because my kids aren't here. No, that's true. We should be saving for our future and then for theirs as well. It just makes good common sense. Think biblically. Abraham was wealthy. How much did he leave for his kids and the kids after that? They just continued to grow their wealth. They were wise. They were logical. And Seventh-day Adventist Christians are logical. We're logical people, so let's do the right thing. Now, I'm not just saying give $1 million to your kids, because they also need to be logical. They also need to have their wherewithal in their head. What are they going to do with it? They need to build a life for themselves, not just go blow it up their nose. They need to make a life for it. And it's our responsibility as parents or grandparents to help teach our children or grandchildren how to live accordingly. These principles right here, how to get out of debt, how to save money, how to put their mind in the right area so that they're not confused because they don't teach this stuff in school at all, in elementary, in parochial school, or in college. They don't teach money, but money is the thing that makes the world go around, right? So it's up to you to teach them about money and how it works.
I just have a quick
go ahead.
comment. When I was growing up, I got an allowance, like 25 cents a week. But I also
And that was a lot back then. Just kidding.
No, because I had to save that 25 cents to buy my mother a Mother's Day gift, a birthday gift, a Father's Day gift, a Father's birthday, and also Christmas.
Yeah.
So if I was walking home and I wanted ice cream, I had to figure out if I had enough money to buy that ice cream
Yeah.
and still accomplish my goal,
Yeah.
that I had money to do these things.
Yeah.
But kids, if they're not given the allowance, they're not learning to
Yeah.
budget their money. Because if they're just giving, they get what they want when they want,
Right.
all they're learning is to take.
You brought up a good point. And so an allowance should be for that. Should be, my mom's birthday is coming up soon. How am I going to get her a gift? Well, I have my allowance, right? I need to save for whatever it is I want to get for her. It's not to just go splurge. An allowance should be to pay tithe, right? To give offerings, to save for the things that you want in the future or that you want to give or do for someone else, for clothing. Things like you save for those things, and we need to teach our children those things too. Save, not you don't have any money, let's get a credit card and borrow against your future, because pretty soon there won't be any future. I'm telling you the truth. I know it doesn't look like it. I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but just look at the news. Jesus is coming soon. And if he's really coming soon, then we shouldn't be a surety to anything, to anyone. We shouldn't owe a bank. We shouldn't owe a car company. We should own what we have as ours. So what? You can shut the door, lock it, leave it, and go to the mountains. And they're not going to come after you because of debt. If you don't have any debt. If you do, they will. They'll be looking for you to pay those debts back. So here we have in 1 Timothy 6, 9 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Not just evil, all kinds of evil. For which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So, I don't know, I guess I want to hear from you. How can you gain a fortune and not love the money?
Repeat that.
How can you gain a fortune and not love the money? Pass that mic around. Anybody? Nobody knows?
Well, I was thinking that we have examples in the Bible. A lot of
Yes.
the patriarchs are very, very wealthy, and it didn't affect their relationship with God or anything. They used it responsibly. It's like what you said earlier. You can have money. There are people who have money, and sometimes they think they're greedy, and it's like, no, it's because a lot of times they do the right thing, and they're responsible with money, or someone else before them in their lineage did. So I think using it responsibly.
Yes. Anybody else? How can you gain a fortune but not fall in love with money? This is one indication I know that someone is in love with money. When they see a wealthy person, like what's his name, who owns Tesla? Elon Musk. And they say, if that guy just gave $1 million to everybody in the city, then we'd all be better off. That's a person who loves money. They're seeking for a quick gain, and they want to get it from someone else who earned it. You see? Yes.
I'm thinking of the verse that says that where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Amen.
So if we have returned our tithe to God, that's a start, and our offerings, our heart will be in that, at least somewhat, won't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And this is where our heart should be. Jesus is coming soon. Is our heart with him, or is it on the world? Is it on eternal things, or is it on things that are going to burn up? My grandma would always say, don't worry about it. It's all going to burn in the fire anyway. Yes.
When we express our values with what we do with our money, if we love God first, he's first place in our finances.
And doesn't he take care of them?
And also, it also works the other way. That is, What we do with our money influences how we feel about things. What we give our money for will encourage us to love God more. It will strengthen our love for God.
Give me an example.
Because if we're faithful, well, if we, there's a saying, we serve those we love, and we love those we serve. If we put God first place in our life with our money and everything else, it strengthens our love for God. And I think it works both ways. We're influenced by what we say, and we say what we think, and we think what we say.
Do you believe, Pastor, that giving tithes and offerings is one way to keep you from being greedy?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It strengthens our love for the cause and the church, and it helps us focus. We're thinking about it because we gave our money for that cause. It works both ways.
Yes.
I want to just say something going back a little bit. Having a credit card, I think, makes a lot of sense if we pay it off every month. There's no interest charge. We're not getting in debt, and we're getting a little tiny kickback, and it's very useful, in that way. As long as we pay every single month,
Yeah.
no interest.
Yeah.
It works.
That's
okay.
true. You've learned how to do that, but you probably didn't do that when you first got a credit card.
Oh, yeah,
Way back in the day. But yeah, you're right. You can have a credit card if you pay it off every single month. And you know what they do? Now they're going to raise your credit. You can borrow $5,000 if you want. No, $10,000. No, $50,000 if you want. Go ahead. But yeah, it is convenient, a way to make payments.
And the other way to do it is you can go through your bank and you can get a year or 2 years, no interest. But you pay it off.
That's really dangerous. It's best just to have a debit card.
It's like with me, it's like, okay, you only have to pay $45. Well, instead, I might pay $100, I'll pay $200 because I want to pay it off before that. But at least I'm paying no interest.
I have a card that my wife puts money on every single month, and that's the only amount of money that I'm available to spend. There's cards that you can get like that. The only that's in there is the only amount of money that you can spend. Now, I want to tell you, we were $210,000 in debt years ago. 210 credit cards, like I'm saying, student loans were huge, car loans, all of those. And Marion put together a debt elimination plan. We called a moratorium on purchasing anything else on credit card, and we ate rice and beans. Rice and beans, beans and rice, as Dave Ramsey says. And we wiped out all of our debt, except for our mortgage. So now we're still attacking our mortgage. But we're also saving for retirement, which I never thought was going to be possible. So we're plugging away. Now is a great time to invest. Why is it a great time to invest? Because some of you are like, what? Why is it a great time to invest your money in the market? Nobody knows? Oh, man. All right, I'm going to go back to this microphone, the pinky test. Here. Right now is a great time to, you know how the market does this, right? Is it better to buy here or to buy here? Buy when it's low and do what? Sell when it's high. That's why. Right now the market is the best time ever. It's all on sale. I don't care if it's Bitcoin or if it's the stock market or if it's mutual funds, it's the best time to buy. Unless you need the money next week. Then you don't put it in the market. You put it in the money market funds. You know what a money market is? Okay, I'll share with you. I only got a couple of minutes, so I'll share with you real quick what a money market is. This is what I used to do for a living, was tell people how money works. And so a money market is like a spider, right? This is a money market. It's a mutual fund that is usually held at your bank, and it goes into bonds, or it goes into certain stocks, or it goes into accounts receivable, things that are different, like bonds. You've got government bonds and state bonds and local bonds, and then you've got different stocks out there that invest into, like maybe soft drinks or fast food fast food industry. So this is how they diversify your investment into money. Now, the nice thing about a money market is there's more into bonds than there is into anything that's risky. And so it keeps your money safe in a money market. And having that money there, you can put it in and take it out whenever you want to without any fees most of the time. So find a bank with a money market account that earns interest. Now, the interest that's earned is only keeps pace with inflation. So if inflation is 6%, it's going to make 6. If it's 3%, that's what it's going to make. Money market is an emergency fund. That's where you put up to $2,000 or $5,000, whatever you need if you were to lose your job for the next 3 months. That's where you put your money into there so that you could take it out without any fees into a money market account. Does that make sense? Right, back to get-rich-quick schemes are another financial trap. They're almost guaranteed, I'm going to use the podium now, sorry. Guaranteed to lead to financial ruin for those who get caught up in them. They will take all of your money and put it to the person to the top. They'll give it to them. An additional tragedy with these devious plans is that in many cases, individuals have had to borrow money to become involved in them in the first place. Okay, my family got caught up into one. My aunt and uncle years ago were touting this investment from Florida. It was called Greater Ministries. And they even said in all their writing, this is not an investment, but that's not what was coming out of their mouth to my entire family. Hey, if you give $1,000, we put in $1,000 and then we got $3,000 back. I even maxed my credit cards and I paid all of those back. These were some of the things that they were saying. So my grandparents, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my greater aunts and uncles, they all put it in. And just what I told them was going to happen, happened. It stopped. The money stopped coming. What do you call that? Ponzi scheme. That's what that was, a Ponzi scheme. So the way that it works is the first people to get started, they'll make sure that they're getting paid and they're getting paid healthy, because they're the networkers. They're the people who will get excited and tell all their friends and family. Don't get involved in them. Read the fine print. Make sure that you're doing what's logically correct. Follow the principles of God so that you don't get trapped in these things. Yes. Oh, you need the mics for them to hear you online.
Quite a few years ago, we had $40,000 that we invested with my ex-brother-in-law.
And with a person?
With a person, because he was an agent. And so we just told him, okay, we need to have the principal stable. The interest, that's okay if it goes up and down, as long as we keep the principal. Well, then something happened called the crash, and we lost
2008?
$20,000.
Did you lose $20,000? Was it in a real investment?
What I found out later, because I was not knowledgeable, was that he put it in a low-grade fund.
A what?
A low grade. They have like an A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah.
And if it's an A, you're pretty secure.
Yeah.
And he had us in a low one,
Okay.
so we had more chance of losing the money, and we did.
Did you lose it?
We lost it. It was
You
gone.
lost it, like it wasn't coming back, lost it.
It wasn't coming back.
Because there's a difference between the value of your stock going down and you actually losing the money. Big difference. If the stock is, I'm going to go back to pink, sorry, Giselle. If the stock that you purchase at $25 a share goes down to $10 a share, did you lose any money? Let's say you put $1,000 in it. You've got $2,500. No, you've got $25,000. And then it goes down to $10 a share, and it looks like, now it's only worth $10,000 when it was worth $25,000. Did you lose? No, you didn't. Now it's on sale. The value of the stock just went down. That's it. You didn't lose anything until you withdraw it. Now, if you say, I don't like what I see, so I'm going to withdraw the funds, then you've lost. That's on you, not them. Wait for it to come back up. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up in the stock market. Okay, back to the podium. Okay. When a friend or even a close loved one tries to pull you into one of these schemes, run. Don't walk, run as fast as you can. Don't get involved. Or give me a call, I'll let you know if it's real, and I'll read the fine print for you. You've been to the hype-up meetings, right? And we know that those are wrong. The meetings that tell you could have this, and you could go anywhere that you want to, and don't you want a better life for yourself? Don't you want to quit your job? If you do this, you could do all of that. Last text for the day is Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 15, starting with verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, you shall grant a release of debts. Wouldn't that be nice today? Right? You know what I'm talking about now. The year of what? Jubilee. Release of debts. And this is the form of the release. Every creditor who has lent anything to his neighbor shall release it back to them. He shall not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Of a foreigner you may require it, but you shall give up your claim to what is owed by your brother, except when there may be no poor among you. For the Lord will greatly bless you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess as an inheritance, only if you carefully obey the voice of the Lord your God to observe with care all these commandments which I command you today. So what was the maximum amount of lending years that they did back in ancient Israel? 7. They would give you a note for 7 years because they knew that they'd have to release it to you by Moses' law. Not Moses, but Hebrew law at that time. So the last thing I want to say today, in an ideal world, there would be no borrowing and no debt. In principle, to whatever degree humanly possible, seek to avoid debt and get out of it as fast as possible. Ellen White says this in Counsels on Stewards, page 257, work them off as fast as possible. When you can stand forth a free man again, owing no man anything, you will have achieved a greater victory. Can you imagine never having any arguments in your household about money again? You could do it. I showed you how. And if you forgot, just come and ask me. I'll show you how. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we ask that you will help us to keep these principles in our life, to be able to understand and know them so that we can do them. We all want to be debt-free, so help us obtain it. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, now we're transitioning. If somebody can help me put this away down in there.